Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Go and
Prepare for trouble and make it double to protect the world from
Shadow Pokemon. That's right, we have a couple of really interesting things. So a few days ago, there was update 0.147.0, and in it we had a few things, very cool things. We had, charm and stuff like charm stats added to the game. So that was very cool. We found out some stuff like that, some new badges. No evolution forms were added to text. A new loading screen was officially added into the coding, which was leaked, or not really leaked, but it was shown as an Easter egg as a Pokestop at GoFest, and then a new code name was spotted for Kangaroo, as well as Koala. So, the new loading screen, we get a full look at it now. Very water, very summer-based. You do see Gibble here, Mantike, Shelder, Corsola, Celio, Wailmer, Psyduck, Finneon, and the Lake Guardian trio. Very cool, and we'll see what this holds, especially because we haven't had an actual water festival event yet. So, very cool, looking forward to that. Charm stats. Charm will actually do damage. So basically it's going to be kind of like a hard-hitting, slower move. Very much like Confusion, I would say. Confusion, Smackdown, kind of in that general area. Hits hard, brings up energy, lasts a little longer. It's going to be very good for PvP and for regular, like just raiding, and will definitely make using fairy types a lot easier. Now, new badges for GoFest Dortmund have been added. At least I believe this is more than likely Dortmund. Purification. This is the first look at Purification, as well as some interesting things. Now, Purification does go back to Pokemon Coliseum, back on the GameCube, back when I was like in elementary school. Kangaroo. Now, Koala was a reference used for Sword and Shield in this, and with Pokemon Home being launched, I believe Kangaroo probably has something to do with Pokemon Home. So, also some hints at Adventure Sync 2.0, but I believe more that Kangaroo will probably be the code name for Pokemon Home. A new No Evolve form has been added to certain Pokemon so far, and this is probably our first look at being able to just halt evolution, maybe be able to just have maybe not so much No Evolve as No Power Up, possibly. Basically being able to stop a Pokemon right where it's at. This could be very good for like Great League when you're powering up and you don't want to accidentally power up a Pokemon, or keeping a Pokemon as a certain form so that you can power it up as like a Charmeleon and not accidentally evolve it into Charizard too early. Stuff like that. Prime items, interesting. Two new, especially for avatar customization, set prime item and set name. This could be our first look at making maybe like closet in the Pokemon Go style section, maybe having like preset outfits for things that could be very interesting. And then minor things, minor, and you're going to put Mewtwo A into that category? Okay. But we do have a little tweak in the Mewtwo setting. This was our first look at possibly Armored Mewtwo. That was a rumor that went around a few months ago. So there has been just a small tweak in that line of data. As well as some new display settings for electric types, as well as some other Pokemon. Now, that was 147.0, but just earlier tonight, like literally a few hours ago, I was so tired when this happened. I was like, I need sleep. So I took a few hours of nap, and now I'm back at it. And we have version 147.1 rolling out now, and doggy. We got Team Rocket, we got Shadow Pokemon, we got new moves, we got Pokestop invasions, we got a whole lot, okay? one of the main data miners, Trolls, first showed the 147.0, the new Pokemon forms, etc., etc. But here's the big one. He pulled out this bad boy. And then GoHub has pulled up an entire new article. I will leave the links to both of these articles from GoHub in the description below. Be sure to check them out. That's where I get a lot of my information. But look at all this. As far as like graphically goes, this looks a lot better. GoHub lists it out and really goes in deep, and we'll get into that. But here's just short and sweet and to the point. We got new items, new quests, new encounters, new badges, new moves, possible shadow Pokemon. Yeah! And then invasion characters. We have NPCs in Pokemon Go, including Spark, Blanche, and Candela, as well as male and female grunts for Team Rocket, as well as there is also a player team leader. That's an interesting one. I think it may touch on this more in the article, but very cool. You do see here every single type of Pokemon. There are 18 types. There are a male and female version of each type for a grunt, as well as just a regular default grunt, male and female, and then there's one for each type. Where basically they're going to be specific to that type. They will use that Pokemon type, and you kind of battle them. So that's going to be very, very cool. Again, that's going to be part of the new encounter called Invasions. So the article does go more in depth with this, so I'll get to that when I get to that. The new quests that we're going to be coming out with in terms of just lines of data, right? Quest Battle Team Rocket, Quest Purify Pokemon, and new moves Frustration, Return, which are both normal types, and Synchronize, not Synchronize, is a Psychic type move. A new item called Route Maker. This could be, as far as you Ingress players will know about, like how you link the different portals together to like capture a certain area. A Route Maker could be that. Recently, level 40 players in, I believe, Singapore were able to submit Pokestop submissions. Maybe a Route Maker will be the first look at maybe like an item that you can use so that people don't abuse the power of Pokestop submissions. Maybe level 40 players, maybe get a beta Route Maker that maybe somehow expedites this. We have no information on Route Maker. That's just my first off the top of my head kind of thought. And then Shadow Pokemon to be purified. These are just the first ones, the first looks. We got Rattata, we got Zubat, and all the evolutions of each of these. We got Rattata, Zubat, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Dratini, Snorlax, and the Mudkip line. Mudkip will be the next Community Day Pokemon. We could be seeing some Shadow Mudkips. That could be very cool. Also, Shadow Pokemon can be shiny. In the Pokemon Coliseum games, though, after you converted a Shadow Pokemon to a regular Pokemon, if it was shiny, it did lose its shininess. That will probably not be a thing in Pokemon Go, but just a thing to kind of keep an eye out for. So, let's get into the hard data mine over on the GoHub. So if we go over back to the GoHub, we're back here on 147.1, which is very, very, very cool. We did see Team Rocket be teased back at GoFest. After your GoFest was done, for the rest of the night you were able to take AR pictures and get photobombed by a Team Rocket grunt. Male-female was completely random, and the reward was always Meowth. So that was the first kind of look at Team Rocket. So that's going to be very cool, and it does, again, this is just kind of a warning. Please be aware that nothing written here is endorsed or confirmed by Niantic. Always subject to last-minute changes, etc., etc. These are just APK mines. You kind of look into it. The official 147.1 is going to be fixing Adventure Sync, which is a welcome fix. Now, big things, again, invasions, shadow Pokemon, purification, Pokemon alignments. This is basically the if it's shadow or if it's purified form. 3 new moves, again, the 2 new badges, quest types, and the new item Route Maker. Now, first of all, if you don't know what Shadow Pokemon are, basically the most iconic one is Shadow Lugia, which will look like this. This is kind of like, they usually come up with like a shadow aura kind of around them. Basically like how lucky Pokemon have that like flashing in the background. Shadow Pokemon kind of had this like very dark kind of sinister aura to them, and if I can find an image of them, I'll throw it up there while I'm talking about this. So this is the look. Again, I kind of named these, but these are the first Shadow Pokemon to be introduced. Kind of cool. We do see here normal type being represented by Rattata, poison flying being represented by Zubat, poison grass, fire, water, dragon, normal, water and ground types being represented here by the various Pokemon typings. So very interesting. We do also know that the Team Rocket grunts will be using certain Pokemons. So very cool. Now, one thing is that purifying a Shadow Pokemon, you will need to spend Stardust and Candy. The one thing, though, is that Shadow Pokemon will have their own kind of things, and we'll get to that right here. It is worth noting that Shadow and Purified forms are handled in the same way as various Deoxys forms. So how Deoxys has its own forms, and each form has its own stats, Shadow Pokemon will have their own individual stats, which is kind of interesting. Again, this is, if you want to follow the link from GoHub, it is that Shadow Pokemon in green. You click that, and it will link you over to the Bulbapedia website, where you can get a more in-depth look at Shadow Pokemon. But, oh, there it is. There it is again with Shadow Lugia. The most iconic, very cool, could be interesting. Also, Shadow Lugia is not in the APK, was not listed in those previous Pokemon, but that doesn't mean that it won't be there later as a possible future event, and being able to encounter a Shadow Lugia would be amazing. Do you see that? That's so cool. Everything we know about invasions. Now, invasions in Pokemon Go, basically Team Rocket will take over a Pokestop. And once you go over to that Pokestop, you will encounter a Grunt using a Pokemon of a particular type. And basically you battle the Pokemon, the Grunt, and then it seems as though at the end there will be a Pokemon encounter stage, and then a chance to purify that Pokemon afterwards if you want to use Candy and Dust. There will be a minimum level for participating in invasions, so like how at level 5 you can't like battle gym or participate in raid battles until you're level 5, probably the same thing here. You have to have free space to encounter for Pokemon, so very much like basically so that you don't go into a raid and at the end of the raid you can't actually catch the Pokemon. Same thing here. Invasions do have a timer, they can expire, so it's probably going to be like a raid egg. There will probably be an invasion timer on Pokestops. So like how you can see a lure active at a Pokestop now, you'll probably be able to see like some kind of like invasion, maybe the very iconic red R that represents Team Rocket over a Pokestop. Let's see. Going on, there are a number of Pokeballs to try and, catch the Pokemon at the end, blah, blah, blah. Also hints of solo invasions, so possibly like tiers of invasions, just like there's tiers of raids. And again, there will be team leaders, so we do see the, possibly like your first invasion might actually be Bland, Spark, or Candela and be part of like your individualized, like I'm Team Instinct. Maybe my first invasion will actually be Spark, being like some kind of like, hey, help, Team Rocket is attacking. Basically, Team Rocket is invading Pokemon Go. Something like that, and then afterwards you will probably see Team Rocket grunts, and again, this is why I used Charles's very cool graph, because this is very, just lots of stuff here. But again, it's male, female, and of every type of Pokemon. So, 18 different types, so that's going to be 36 different grunt possibilities here. Everything we know about the 3 new moves, my boy Chatot there, which I just got, very cool, love Chatot. So basically, Frustration, Return, and Synchronize are all Pokemon that do not have any additional effects, so we're not going to be seeing anything like PvP where it goes like attack increase or attack decrease on either side. Basically, these are just normal type moves. The thing with these, though, are that Frustration and Return both deal with your Pokemon's friendship. So if your Pokemon's friendship in the game was higher, it would do more. So we don't necessarily know how this is going to translate to Pokemon Go, but these are two normal type moves. Synchronize is a psychic type attack that deals damage to everyone on the field. So in double battles, it would hurt your other Pokemon as well. So that's an interesting thing there. We haven't seen one of those in Pokemon Go yet. So beyond just these descriptions that we have here from the main series games, that's pretty much all we know about these moves, is that they are in this data mine. So very interesting, actually. And then the Route Maker, basically we have no clue what this is going to be. The only thing we can kind of guess is that it kind of looks like Ingress, like I said before. You would kind of connect portals. Maybe this deals something like with that. Maybe you like connect Pokestops? I don't know. Or like I said before, maybe this is how you can submit Pokestops. Maybe we're going to be looking at the worldwide launch of Pokestop submissions soon, and maybe this is going to be how they do that. Don't know. But basically, here's the parting words from this event. So that basically, this is everything that we know. Now, again, this is going to be very, very interesting looking at all these new things coming to Pokemon Go. And considering that we had... Actually, you know what? I'm just going to turn off screen recording real quick. Save myself some editing. You know how it is. Now then, so basically we have some very interesting things coming to Pokemon Go, and these might be coming very, very soon. We haven't really seen this in a while, where in 1 APK 147 we had the first hint, and then immediately afterward, 147.1, we see so much more lines of code added to this. This does definitely seem like it's going to be coming sooner rather than later to Pokemon Go. We will be seeing the launch of basically a whole new category of playing Pokemon Go, a whole bunch of new things to go with, and very interesting. We could actually see this kind of like in the new Wizarding Unite, how the kind of like raids work there, where you kind of go to the different towers, and then you're basically able to just go through and like battle on your own, where it's not like how in Pokemon Go where raids are such a big community-based thing. We will see this new kind of NPC-driven kind of thing, which does help towards like people who play solo, or just people looking for something new to do. And of course Shadow Pokemon, which is going to be very interesting. We'll see how Shadow Pokemon work. Can you keep a Shadow Pokemon Shadow? Do you have to purify it? We'll see a lot of things here. And of course we'll see how Shadow Pokemon affect PvP. If you can keep them as Shadow form, since they have their own stats, what will they do? Will they become more like attack based, since in Pokemon Coliseum, Shadow Pokemon were basically Pokemon that had been like captured by the evil, like the Team Rocket of Pokemon Coliseum. Basically turned Pokemon into Shadow Pokemon, and the main protagonist went around and purified all the Shadow Pokemon. That was like the basis of the game, where the final like boss battle was against Shadow Lugia. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I played Pokemon Coliseum, so I don't know exactly how it went necessarily, but that was the main premise of the game. So very, very excited to see kind of like another thing from the past, another like little staple of the childhood, like a little section there. Pokemon Coliseum, the GameCube, all that stuff, and it also brings a lot into Pokemon Go. We've seen things from the anime before, with Ash coming into the game, Squirtle Squad Squirtle. We're seeing now Pokemon Coliseum being added to the game in the form of this new NPC, kind of this kind of thing. So we'll see exactly how much other things Pokemon Go will actually integrate into it. So this definitely opens up the realm of possibilities a lot. Very, very excited, and this, again, might be coming sooner rather than later. This is probably going to be the next big thing in Pokemon Go, and could eventually lead into Jirachi. This might be part of the Jirachi special research, like you have to purify a certain number of Pokemon before you can get Jirachi, especially since you can only, it is said via the lore that Jirachi requires a pure mind or a pure soul of a trainer, so we could definitely see this as a possible tie-in to Jirachi as well, for the worldwide launch of Jirachi. So definitely very, very, very excited about this. If you are, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. If you enjoyed this series, please subscribe, and as always, God bless, and see you for another episode of Pokemon Go.